Good morning, guys. This is your host, Kavaski Irvin. We are on YouTube today experiencing a wonderful relationship coach at work, at play. Tony Gaskins is here with three young singles who are battling struggles as they venture into the world of relationships. It's unspeakable how we go through the same problems over and over again with relationships. And then we have to stop trying to make it make sense for ourselves and use those who have been in those positions that we desire to be or to get out of, to break free of, and use them as as a crutch. That's what relationships are about in modern dating. Looking at those who have gotten it right, taking their advice, and making it work for you and your family, your relationship, making it work. That's what it's all about. You don't have to be alone in this, I'm sure. So here we are. So yeah, let's get it going.
Well, welcome. Thank y'all for joining me. Now, as you know, this is Love Levels, where we're really just discussing the experiences of dating, like your personal experience, whether had a tough relationship, great relationship, no relationship, really to get a pulse on just where we are in our relationship status. And I'm going all around the country talking to people just to see if there is a through line between the experiences so that we can help each other learn, grow, and create more healthy and successful relationships. So in starting, I'm going to have y'all introduce yourself, and we'll start here. Just your name, age, what you do, and I'll kind of go from there.
Okay. My name's Deanna Hayes. I am 36. I am an attorney.
Okay, and where do you live?
I live in Northern Virginia. I'm originally from Florida, though.
Okay, awesome. And you?
Yeah, Alex, 33, based in Baltimore, grew up in Los Angeles, and I'm a professional athlete for Under Armour.
Okay, awesome.
I'm Mila, 26. I live in DC, but I'm from upstate New York, and I'm in corporate, like America, but then also I'm an esthetician on the side, so I do like the best of both worlds. Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, is everybody single?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long have you been single?
Ooh, it's like 2023.
2023,
Yeah.
about you?
About 2 years.
About 3 years. So like 2022-ish?
Yeah,
Okay.
around there.
What about you?
Since 2020?
20. Okay, wow. So now, is that, is it depressing at all, or is it peaceful?
I think there are parts where it's really enjoyable. You know, you get a lot of freedom and you can kind of do what you want to do. But there is another side of it where you feel like, hey, it's nice to come home to somebody, or if you want to experience something with somebody, you know, you wish you had a partner to kind of do that with. You know?
That consistent person
Yeah.
versus having to call different people to go on different dates.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What would you say?
I would second that. I think it depends on the day. And of course, depends on the time. So some days, of course, I love my freedom. I love being able to come and go and I'm not checking in. But then other days, of course, you want a companion. You want someone to be able to grow with, someone to be able to share with. So yeah. So it's depends on the day.
Okay. What would you say?
Yeah, I agree. The season, I feel like, the holiday season is like, oh, I want the cuffing pictures and like the cute little matching pajamas. But I don't find it depressing though. No.
Okay,
I don't
so
find it
still
depressing at all.
young. Y'all young.
Yeah.
What's your age again?
26.
So you're very young. Okay. Now, when you get into your 30s, you say you're
33.
36.
okay. So you get into your 30s, it changes a little bit. Now, do you find that the dating market, like if you had to put words to it, how would you describe the dating market from the male perspective?
Oof, it's kind of rough. Yeah, I think for me personally, initially it's great. You meet somebody, you connect with them, you guys are going on dates. And after about like 2-3 weeks, then a lot of red flags usually pop up for me. And I don't know if that's just me overanalyzing situations or, having expectations that are not real, like they're a bit unrealistic. But yeah, I tend to struggle after a few weeks, connecting with somebody for a little bit.
Is that like the athlete side of you?
Now, With this, I see Tony leading us right into a deep, good question, which is about to pull some information out. But I have to pause here because I need everybody to understand what I'm seeing as a spectator of this, looking out, like outside looking in, right? This young man is very together to the point where it seems like, okay, how can someone break that wall down? Okay. And he said about 2 weeks span passes and it seems like he starts to see the red flags very quickly. As an athlete myself, I have dealt with this. I have understood that this is a problem in the dating sphere, right? And so it gets kind of hard when people don't see the big picture. Like if you run marathons and they want to sprint a little bit and walk slow a little bit and always want to, change up the pace. Marathon runners, you keep a constant pace throughout the whole race. Therefore, you reach the end, well. And if you have a high, you have lows, you have sadness, happiness, all these emotions or emotional drives or rides that we experience in relationships and as people. If you cannot smoothly ride through these things, then it'll bring chaos into the relationship, which he is talking and calling as red flags. Or if you're dating someone and they simply do not understand how to love you in your love language as opposed to loving you the way they like to be loved or the way that makes them feel good, you know what I mean? Then that will bring out red flags because they could seem as if everything about themselves can be self-pleasing. And what am I here with you for if you're not doing many things, if you're not willing to sacrifice so that you are here to bring benefit and plus into my life, therefore I do the same to you. That's a big challenge.
A view of like kind of not being satisfied, or is it just like real core hard red flags?
I think there's a bit of both. There's, I went to school at the University of Alabama, and I was an athlete there, and we were having fun, and it's always trying to accomplish the next thing, and sometimes that can roll over into women, and I had to do some deep diving to kind of understand, hey, like this isn't how the type of man I want to be. So I try to be conscious of that when I'm dating people. But I also think the other side of it is there's just not a lot of people that are on the same page of what I want. Because when I'm dating somebody, I want to actually get to know you. And sometimes people kind of skip. They get to know you and then they skip, hey, let's just go to a title or let's just get engaged. They kind of skip a lot of things without actually really getting to know who I am as an individual.
I like that. And now, I don't know if y'all realize this, but that's a big dog. University of Alabama. Did y'all catch that?
I did.
That's a big dog. Like you go to Alabama for any kind of sport. You really, really that guy. And so, Mila, how would you describe the dating market?
I don't know. I've gone on many dates, right? And everyone's pretty different, I feel like. And I've gotten various like ages, I guess you could say. I'm like 30s to like 20-year-olds. I'm like, we can't do anything together. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna work. But I don't know. It seems like I've had a few experiences where people seem like intentional, but it like falls off. Like they'll ask the right questions, the dates are going well, but then it just like trickles off. Like, okay, what was that? Yeah.
Do you ever get an explanation?
So, I mean, sometimes, like maybe like months later, I'm like, I don't care at that point. Yeah.
I don't mean to like divulge too much into like your personal life and dating life and stuff like that. But is there ever a point, because you said that sometimes in the beginning they're intentional and then they stop. Is it after something happens between you guys? Like, because in the past, like I've been around like a lot of guys who, once they have sex, they're like, okay, I'm done. Is that like a trend you kind of see like after you guys start to get intimate?
No,
Okay,
it could be like early on. It could be like the second, third date, like back to back, like in once a week or whatever. And like it's cool. Like maybe we're not texting or like talking on the phone a lot, but then it just kind of like dwindles out. I'm like, what's wrong? Like you're crazy. I just say everybody's crazy.
I would say typically like in the dating market, sometimes guys are meeting a lot of different women. And so I know, for me, when I was out there, it was like, when I met my wife, I was talking to, or I had just met 4 other young ladies at the same time. And so it was like a decision had to be made. So I think sometimes it's like this kind of race in the guy's mind and he just etching off like that. How would you describe it? And you being an attorney too, does that make it different?
It does. It does. I find that, oh,
Do you get approached at all or?
I do. I do. And it's either two completely ends of the spectrum that always approach. It's
Now, I'm going to have to pause it here and do other stuff, but for her, she's giving me either she's getting approached by super nerd or she's getting approached by white people. White guys. It's just what it's seeming like. But it's like she's like, hey, I just made it here. I ain't trying to be the most intelligent such and such person in the room. I made it here. That ought to be enough to get me a husband because I made it here. Look at this. I mean, I put myself on the map. And as a black woman, young, beautiful black, that ought to say a lot about who I am. And it's true. Look at her. I mean, she's smart, intelligent, seems to be. To me, this woman here looks like a housewife. Not because she is supposed to stay in the house, but she looks like if you go into her kitchen, she gonna have flour on her hands, mixing up some dough with a apron on, because that's her sanctuary. This woman has a sanctuary somewhere. It's how she looks to me. And that's not to say she's only good for the kitchen, but that's to say she's made it to a high level in her life and she deserves a sanctuary from her man and for her family. And that's good for her. And that's going to be good for her. And it's a healthy thing for this woman specifically. Let's see her. Before I go, let's see her answer.
sound completely horrible, but it's honest. It's at a, like, let's say a networking event or some type of lawyer event, and I'm approached by someone and I later find out that they're married. Or it's the completely other end of the spectrum. And I think that people sometimes, or guys, become enthralled with the fact that you are an attorney because all of the questions are centered around what's work like. So a lot of times I kind of wait to say what I do for a living, just to make sure that we're building connection based on who I am and not what I do. As far as the dating pool is concerned, I would say consistency. I see like a lack of consistency and then commitment. And I guess kind of what Alex was saying with regards to, I don't mind getting to know someone, but there comes a point where sometimes it drags on. And how long are we getting to know each other before we're establishing what we're doing? Dating for a year or 2 years, like what are we doing before, I guess, like we put a title to something? So not in a rush, but then at the same time, I do know my value and I'm not going to just be strung along for it.
Now, she said dating could last a year. Okay, before adding a title. Now, with this, okay, if dating lasts a year before adding a title, then my question is this: what is the title that's going to come after this dating? Because if you're dating, that means you're boyfriend, girlfriend. So you have a boyfriend and he has a girlfriend. That's a title. So what is y'all dating and he can still go date other people? Is that what's being like going on for a whole year span? Is that what dating looks like to this lady? Because if so, that's going to make it very hard to find, you know what I'm saying, to find a commitment. Because if you're giving all this access to the person you're dating, who's to say man ain't want to waste his time like this, just casually dating you, being held to a high regard with no benefits from you. So this is going to change stuff. He's going to want to get some benefits eventually, which is going to come in the form of, if you rich, all right, buy me some shoes, buy me a place, something. Make sure I'm having my Uber and stuff like this. Make sure that we going on nicer dates, you know, and the bill was already covered before we walked in the door, stuff like this. Because if I got to think about the bill afterwards, and then that means I'm finna have to start thinking about you my wife, woman, you're mine. This is what's gonna happen in this type of situation. So you got to make it. If you're dating for a year, by 2 months or a month, y'all ought to be coming and understanding of this is between you and me. Because if he's out kissing somebody else, y'all get y'all first kiss and say we're boyfriend girlfriend. Y'all kiss, he give you something on the mouth because he ain't been taking care of himself, out mingling with other folks. Then that right there is a big problem. You ought to start to learn this man, understand his habits and his ways. So I don't know. It's kind of strange there. Okay, well, never mind. Yeah, we're done here.